Hi guys, welcome to my Experience Teacher Through Action Research vlog. This will be the last one in this little vlog burst, but I wanted to talk about some of their future improvements. So the way that I came up with this was, well, being in the classroom to start with, but I also did feedback quizzes with students as well as interviews with focus groups and looked at all the data that came out of this and came up with this is my list of things that I would need to change or improve in the future to implement this a bit better. So the first thing would be a softer implementation. Now this isn't possible in an action research where you're comparing one thing to another to see that they're different, but if I was doing this actually as part of my pedagogy in class, it'd need to be done with a softer implementation. So that means introducing it earlier on and starting with the hands on the wheel and slowly releasing the reins over time. So it might be have all the stuff there like I did in the control, then in the second topic give them a couple of days here and there where they get to choose their own path, and so give them more and more control rather than just go, right guys, you're in charge now, because this really put off some of the class. And it wasn't a large portion of the class, but a very small portion of the class were very unhappy with self-paced mastery as a whole, and I think that through a softer implementation it'd be easier to bring those particular students on board, because obviously you've got to support everybody in the class. More frequent of that direct instruction mini lessons. So I did a few of them throughout the topic, but the students, I think, particularly those ones that didn't like the self-paced mastery, would like a bit more guidance and a bit more direction in that sort of sense. So I wonder if I could do it, have on the board like ideas for mini lessons, and see if students could then write on the board, oh yep, I want him to explain refraction to me, and then if I got 4 ticks, then go, right, everyone, we're doing a mini lesson on this. I think that might be a good way to do it. Another way would be to give a little mini lesson on something every day. I don't know if that's best use of time, but yeah, this is sort of possible ways to do it in the future. This is something that came up in the focus groups from all different levels, but having weekly checkpoints. So perhaps you need to be at Mastery Check 4 by the end of week 3, rather than go, right, guys, get to the end of the topic in 5 weeks, go. Have smaller little signposts there to get to, and that's probably part of that softer implementation, that having sort of, here's a couple of days, here's a longer period of time, here's a longer period of time. Maybe by the end of the year, you'd be able to go to students, all right, you've got 5 weeks and they know the pace, but they're having those weekly checkpoints that everybody needs to be at a certain point at a certain time, would stop that sort of rush at the end where everyone goes, oh, what do you mean? Like, we've only got 3 lessons left, I'm only at here, for example. So that's definitely something that would be a good idea. Using some sort of student planner or organizer. Most students felt that they could organise their time reasonably well, and all students felt that if they were to do it again, they'd be able to organise their time better. But maybe for, again, that minority of students, having some sort of explicit, these are the lessons, this is the thing I'm going to be doing in that lesson, this is what I'm going to do at home, that would, and get that sort of, that planning, that metacognition in for students and do it explicitly in class, that would probably be something that would help most, if not all, of students. So more videos, particularly for practical tasks. So having some explicit instruction videos, as in like, take this, do that, twist it this, whatever, science. That would mean that I've got less time in class saying the same, giving the same basic instructions to 24 different kids that they could go to and have that set of instructions, which would free up a bit of time in class, because the time in class is fairly chaotic as a teacher. The last thing that came out of the interviews was that students really missed class discussions. So maybe I could do something where on a particular day or at the start of the lesson we have a 10-minute discussion on something, or at particular topics. Once we get most of the kids are up to that, then we have a little discussion. So that's something that could fix it or could improve that self-paced mastery for the future. So yeah, that's some of my thoughts. I'd like to do this again. I'd like to do it again and bigger. So we'll see how we go. Peace out.